Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Talking Movies with D, and that's me. Here we basically give you all the latest in movie news and give you a little bit of info on what everything means. I'm your host, Derrick Woodrin, an inspiring actor and a big movie buff, and I have a very special episode for you guys today because I'm actually joined by a longtime friend and my big homie. Go ahead and introduce yourself, man.
My name is OJ. Like Derrick said, longtime friends, and I also enjoy the occasional movie here and there. Not as big of a movie buff as he is, but yeah, I still enjoy the movies, and yeah, so here to talk movie news with my man. So that's why I'm here.
The reason why I actually have OJ on the show is because he represents the casual moviegoer. He just mainly sees the big blockbusters and a couple other movies that he hears is very good. Usually ones I suggest to him, but he's a comic book purist, and what I mean by that is he grew up with the comics at a young age and as a kid, and when you make a change in the movies that's from the comics, he gets pissed off. He's angry, yeah. And we talk about it on a regular. That's why I do have him on the show, because we talk about some of those changes. Yeah. And me, on the other hand, my comic book knowledge when I was younger came from video games, cartoons, and toys. And now I'm more into I get into comics a little bit more now because of those movies and my love for them. So that's really the reason why I have OJ on the show. But now that we got, all introductions and everything out the way, let me get to our first piece of movie news, which is Benedict Cumberbatch has finally been confirmed as playing Doctor Strange in the new Marvel movie coming out in a few years. Benedict Cumberbatch, he's a well-known actor now. He's a Oscar-nominated and Oscar-caliber actor. He was in Star Trek Into Darkness as well as 12 Years a Slave. That's some movies you might know him in. A little bit of background on Doctor Strange. His name's Dr. Stephen Vincent Strange, or known as Doctor Strange, who's a former neurosurgeon. He serves as the Sorcerer Supreme, who is the primary protector of Earth against magical and mystical threats. He also is part of the new Avengers and various other teams in the Marvel world. OJ, what do you think about Doctor Strange not only getting his own movie, but Benedict Cumberbatch playing the role?
Doctor Strange is one of those characters who he's not as well known in the Marvel universe as I think as like a traditional Wolverine or somebody like that is. But I think he's definitely a character that's interesting enough to warrant his own movie. The Cumberbatch guy, I'm not familiar with the guy. But when I see his work, I think this this tall slender guy, kind of sliding in and out of the room, doing this and that. I mean, that might work well for a Sorcerer Supreme, but I mean, I'm not too sold on the guy as of right now. But we'll see. His roles that I have seen him in, they haven't really been anything that I would see warrants being picked as the lead man in the Doctor Strange movie. But that's not to say he can't pull it off. So. I'm excited to see that he actually got his own movie, but we'll see how he pulls it off.
I'm a little opposite on you on that, only because I do know his work. I've seen more, like 12 Years a Slave, Star Trek Into Darkness. He's in a TV show Sherlock Holmes, and the characters he usually plays is always somebody highly intelligent, very smart, and semi-witty, but always kind of looks down on everybody. You really get that in Sherlock, the TV show Sherlock he's in, and you really get that in Star Trek Into Darkness as you get it in 12 Years a Slave as well in a more messed up way. But like just Star Trek Into Darkness, he played Khan. He looks down on everybody. He's so powerful, so intelligent. Like he's like the ultimate he's the ultimate bad guy. And so what he did in that role, and the fact that he is an Oscar caliber type actor, that it's guaranteed he's gonna. I mean, it's not guaranteed the movie's gonna be good, but him doing the role is gonna be. He's not gonna be the issue. If the movie's not good, it's not gonna be his fault. He's gonna give you a great performance, no matter what. You're gonna feel like, oh yeah, that's Doctor Strange. That's definitely Doctor Strange. I like what he did with him.
Okay.
Our next piece of movie news is one I'm actually more excited for, because it's about the character Deadpool, who's from X-Men. Ryan Reynolds actually cast, or I should say reprising his role as Deadpool, has actually been confirmed now. And Ryan Reynolds from, Green Lantern, the movie Barry, that was real good. One of his bad movies, R.I.P.D., and X-Men, Wolverine Origins, which wasn't good either. But those are some of his movies. But as far as Deadpool's background, and you saw a little bit of him in X-Men Origins, he is famous for his talkative nature. He's known as the Merc with the Mouth, and he has a tendency to break the fourth wall, which the writers use as a humorous effect at all times. He basically he's a great anti-hero who is basically a mercenary, and he talks a lot of trash most of the time. OJ, what do you think about Ryan Reynolds reprising his role as Deadpool, and like, what do you think about Deadpool in general?
Well, Deadpool in general, I think he's one of those fan favorites. I want to say he's almost developed a little bit of a cult following. I know he's one of your favorite Marvel characters, but I think the big thing with Deadpool that separates him from everyone else is that fourth wall that you joked about, and his ability to make fun of himself, because during the comics, he's aware that he is a comic book character, and he'll jump off the page of the comic and reach out and make fun of you for reading too fast or reading a different line or whatever the case may be. So the Deadpool character is definitely, hands down, deserves his own movie. I think that maybe the writing team is going to have to, they're going to have their hands full with this stuff that's going to keep us on edge and as witty as the character actually is. So hopefully they can dig into some of the comics and kind of just write from there and just keep the verbiage going from there. Back to Ryan Reynolds. Yeah, he is reprising the role, and he was unfortunately stuck in that terrible Wolverine Origins movie. But in my opinion, the movie wasn't bad because of him. Before he got transformed into what they said was Deadpool, when he was actually himself and just cracking jokes with the team before he got transformed, he was that wise, cracking, joking around type guy, and he did it perfectly. So everything up to when he got transformed into this mummy, zombified creature,
Cyclops power having,
just completely not what the character has ever been in any of the comics. He did a great job. So for him to reprise that role is fantastic, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he does with it. So
I definitely agree. Deadpool definitely deserves his own character, and I think I'm happy that it took so long for them to do it, only because you do have to be careful with this character. And I think another reason, besides the fact that Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool is kind of like Robert Downey Jr. with Iron Man for me. Mm-hmm. Like, he was born to do the job. And, I mean, he shows it in everything he does anyway. Most of the stuff, even in Blade Trinity, he's a smart talking, just talking mess to everybody. Yeah. And he can show he also can, beat people up and, just be a badass at the same time. Yeah. So, not only with that aside, the background of Ryan Reynolds, he's a fan of Deadpool. And he's actually the one been fighting for Deadpool to actually have his own movie, and the issue's been, is it going to be rated R? Is it going to be PG-13? Studio wants PG-13, but anybody who knows the character Deadpool, he needs to be R. He needs to be chopping heads off, cussing everybody out, and just being a smart aleck all the time. But what actually it's not set in stone. It's more speculation that the test footage that came out, and I'm going to ask you about that next. The test footage, which I love the test footage, and the test footage was just great, but they're saying that that's the reason why the movie got the green light. Like, it was technically leaked, the test footage or whatever, with Ryan Reynolds doing the voice, and they captured Deadpool. I mean, everything about Deadpool. He's singing. If you haven't seen it, just look up Deadpool test footage, and he's like sitting on the edge, and he's sitting there playing music, singing "Bananas" by Gwen Stefani, and then he looks at the camera, starts talking, and then he jumps down and starts killing bad guys. And as he's killing them, he's talking mess to him. So, like, that's the character I'm looking for. And I was like, if they make a live action movie like that, I'm guaranteed to be happy. Yeah. But what did you think about the test footage?
I thought the test footage was good too. I mean, I think they did it right because they did it in CG, which, they could have the wild explosions and everything. I advise everybody check it out so you guys can kind of know what we're talking about. But there was that instance where Deadpool was, I think the car was flipping over, and one of the bad guys was sitting in the seat, and Deadpool had drawn a picture of what he was going to do to somebody else, and then he went and like chopped the guy's head off because that's what he had drew. That is completely like vintage Deadpool. So the fact they incorporated in that, hopefully it carry over and
they have to.
And be in the live action movie. Yeah. So they got that right. They got Ryan Reynolds right. So hopefully they can bring that over. I love the test footage though.
Yeah, the test footage was great, and it's funny that you said about the drawing the picture, because some of it they had him speaking different languages, so they had subtitles at times. But like he's getting beat up and he's ow, ow, ow. And, like, who really does this? Like this is why he's gonna be that's why everybody's gonna love him as a character, because the stuff that he does just in the test footage was just too funny. Like, hey, I'm drawing a picture of your head getting cut off, and then I cut your head off and show everybody that I did it. Like, I can't wait for it. I wish it was gonna be R, but the test footage showed that PG-13 can work. It's just not gonna be as gory as we would want, but we can live with that. We can live with that.
I can live with that one.
Yeah. So our next piece of news is actually for Suicide Squad, the cast of Suicide Squad. Basically, they're an anti-hero team of incarcerated supervillains who work for the government doing high-risk black ops in exchange for commuted prison sentences. The way they actually control these supervillains is by putting a chip in their head. And basically, if they do anything wrong or they don't follow instruction, they'll blow up. That's at least the basis I got from it. Because I'm not super, I don't have all the knowledge about Suicide Squad. I'm more of a Marvel's Deadpool type and Iron Man, those guys. The Suicide Squad's not really high on my radar like that. But the reason why we're talking about it is because of their casting. So Jared Leto, who actually just won an Oscar for Dallas Buyers Club, he's playing the Joker, which are definitely big shoes to fill. We have Will Smith, who we don't need to say anything else. He's Will Smith, big blockbuster guy, numbers of movies, great, and some bad. But yeah, don't talk about After Earth. Yeah. Nice sucks. But Will Smith is playing Deadshot. Then we have Tom Hardy, which you guys will know him from Dark Knight, Inception, and a movie he actually had recently called Locke, which he was great in as well. He's playing Rick Flag. Then you have Margaret Robbie. She's basically the hot girl off of Wolf of Wall Street, and she actually has a movie coming out. It's either in January or February with Will Smith. That's basically a con artist movie. It's called Focus. Yeah. And so I've only seen her in Wolf of Wall Street, and she was pretty good in that. So she's playing Harley Quinn. Okay. And I'm interested to see what she does with her. And then you have Jai Courtney, who's playing Boomerang, and he's off Divergent and A Good Day to Die Hard. Okay. And the last person who's playing Enchantress, Cara Delevingne, I haven't seen anything she's done, so I can't really say anything about her. But everybody else, they're great talents. Mm-hmm. First off, I mean, you have 3 of them could be Oscar nominees for movies that, I mean, depending on the role they choose, they can. I mean, one's won one. And the other 2 of them could win one. They turn in those kind of performances. Right. But what gets me about this casting, because I wasn't really too concerned about Suicide Squad. I was more like, I'll check it out, but I'm not gonna be excited for it. Right. But when Will Smith's name came up, that's when it made it legit, because Will Smith, even though he has turned in some stinkers, usually he brings it. He's gonna give you a good performance. He's gonna get you excited about it. And then on top of that, it's a chance to see the Joker again. Granted, I'd rather see Heath Ledger's Joker if I could, but Joker's one of my favorite villains ever. In not just comic book movies, anything. Joker's just that character. He's so evil, so crazy, but his craziness is just unbearable. And is as great as a character. And then him and Harley Quinn together is very interesting to me as well. Yeah. So that's kind of why I am kind of excited about Suicide Squad. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on the casting in Suicide Squad as a whole?
You spoke a lot about the great caliber of the actors that are going to be in this movie. And I'm not denying their talents. But when you pick a genre like a superhero movie or a supervillain movie, whatever the case may be, it almost seems that your acting accolades and your abilities don't necessarily get displayed because you're playing somebody that's based off of a character as well. I mean, we've kind of seen that with Robert Downey playing Iron Man and stuff like that, and then they all kind of got together and did the Avengers. Again, not knocking anyone's ability, but I'm not there to see you deliver a monologue. I want to see some action. So, Will Smith is great for that. We've seen him in Bad Boys, and he delivers tons of action. My only real concern with that is I think Jared Leto playing the Joker, and you hit it right on the head when you mentioned the Joker. Like, how does anybody outdo Heath Ledger's Joker? That was such an iconic role, and unfortunately he passed away, and I think that being the last time we really got to see him do some significant work, and it was so great, it kind of left us wanting more.
Yeah, definitely.
So. Jared Leto definitely has some huge shoes to fill. He might be up to it. We'll see. Another thing I'm really interested to see is because they have him, they have his character along with the Harley Quinn. And based on the comics, if you guys aren't aware, Harley Quinn is kind of like the Joker's lackey. She's like madly obsessed with the Joker. She'll do anything the Joker wants her to do. If that's killing somebody, smashing somebody's hand, whatever it might be. So I'm interested to see the chemistry between the Joker and Harley Quinn in this movie. That's the one thing I'm looking forward to. Will Smith, I believe, it's going to be a superhero, supervillain movie. He'll deliver on the action. I'm more interested to see the interaction between the Harley Quinn and the Joker. So,
any thoughts on Tom Hardy or Margot Robbie?
Well, Tom Hardy, he was in the Dark Knight movie.
Dark Knight Rises.
Dark Knight Rises.
He was Bane. He said, I don't know what you said, Bane. You're just a big guy. You don't scare me.
Yeah. I mean, he was like a big beast in that movie. He was manhandling
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale.
As Batman.
Yeah, he sucks. He was, and I have an issue with with an actor playing two separate characters in the same universe. I know it might be a different universe because of the whole...
Technically, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't want to see Bane, and then I don't want to see him as whoever else this other guy is. I mean, granted, as Bane, he has the mask, he has the whatever on his face, so you can't really see him, and his voice is all or whatever. But, if you look up the credits, you'll see the same name twice, playing two separate characters in the same comic book universe. I have a small issue with that, but he did do a good job as Bane. So,
except for his voice.
Except for his freaking voice. I look forward to it, man. I think that, all these comic book movies getting, so much recognition and generating so much money at the box offices. I think all these characters should be brought to light. And, I mean, it's great that they're getting these high caliber actors to deliver great performances. So, we'll see.
All right, well, our next segment is our movie pick of the week. And this is where we pick a movie that's in theaters right now, and we also pick a movie that's that's on Blu-ray right now. I'll pick first. My movie pick in theaters is called Birdman. It stars Michael Keaton, Emma Stone, Zach Galifianakis, Edward Norton, all great actors. And in the movie, their talent shows. They're great in the movie. Like, Emma Stone's incredible. Edward Norton's always good. Zach Galifianakis, who, if you guys don't know, he's from the guy from Hangover, the fat Jesus off of Hangover.
He's playing a serious role?
He's playing a serious role, and he delivers.
Wow.
And I mean, the movie's kind of funny in parts where it's not funny to them, but to the audience it's funny.
Okay.
It's like that awkward funny, like, that's not really cool, but it's funny at the same time. Like, they don't like it, but it's funny for us.
Okay.
And the movie delivers on, for one, it's basically a movie about Michael Keaton's life, in my opinion, because he played Batman back in the 80s and 90s, and basically it's also perfect for this time, because when you play an iconic role like Robert Downey Jr. being Iron Man, or Chris Hemsworth playing Thor, Christian Bale playing Batman, what do you do after that? Like, how does your career go? Because some people like Christian Bale and I'll say Christian Bale. He kept going. He's still doing this thing. He's still making movies and turning in top. I mean, he's changing his body to be whatever he wants to be to win Oscars, right. Or be nominated at least. But he went for fighter. But somebody like Michael Keaton, who he did Batman and he was in the height of his career, and then it's like, what happened to him?
Yeah.
Until what, like a few years ago when he did The Other Guys, and then he did something else recently too.
He'll always be my Batman.
It is exactly. He's not the swear to me Batman. He's the hey I'm Batman. He's a cool Batman. I don't know about you guys that grew up in the 2000s, but Michael Keaton's a real Batman.
Yeah.
But the movie captures all that and I think I appreciated it more. Which is also it's being talked for an Oscar, but the reason I think I appreciate it more is because I'm an aspiring actor, and it gives you that it lets you into that world. So I mean, it's for somebody who doesn't know acting or just likes watching movies or anything like that. It gives you appreciation for what they go through because you have these very talented people, and you might hear some of the stories where this actor is great, they're on this high scale. But people don't like working with them because they're mentally messed up in the head. But they're so messed up in the head because they get in character. Like they're so committed to their work, and it goes through the like, hey, I've turned into a bad performance. Critics are talking bad about me, and all like it breaks down all that kind of stuff. And drugs, all that. So it really captures the entire life of somebody who was a star and how do they go about living their life when they're not a star anymore. And I mean, and like, we see that all the time. I mean, so that's why I can appreciate that movie. And I recommend anybody go see it. It's still in theaters. It's technically an indie movie, but people are loving it. It's like a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. Okay. And this is critic rating. And I mean, it's got great critic and audience rating. Yeah. So it's definitely a movie you want to see. Do you have a theater pick? I know you don't go to the movies as much as I do.
I don't go to the movies as much as you do, but I mean, I might have to piggyback off of what you just said. I haven't seen it, but it sounds great. And I think it's really refreshing to hear Michael Keaton back in that role because, again, like I said, he's always, when I see him, I always think of Batman.
Think of Batman,
you know. And I think it's a little maybe they did this on purpose. A little ironic to see him playing the role kind of based on himself, you know. So
Batman, Birdman,
yeah, a lot of similarities there. I mean, you know, I think that's probably why they did it. But from what it sounds like they pulled it off pretty nice, and with a lot of star power in that movie with Edward Norton and Galifianakis and Emma Stone. So I haven't seen it, but you know, D says it's good. Check it out.
And I haven't let this guy down yet. Everything I recommend to him, he likes. You have a Blu-ray pick?
If I had to pick a recommended movie on Blu-ray, the movie I'd have to pick was, well, you just said it, You Haven't Let Me Down.
Also, a movie I recommended you to pick.
A movie that you recommended, that he recommended me to pick. It would have to be Guardians of the Galaxy. This guy was all over that movie when it was in early production, when he first started hearing about it. And I was kind of against it because, I did read the comic books as when I was younger.
You say you didn't?
I did, but I didn't read. I read comic books, but
but you didn't read Guardians of the Galaxy.
I didn't. Guardians of the Galaxy was never around, so I see Marvel. I see these different characters. I see the Rocket Raccoon. I see the Groot. I see Gamora. I see this Star-Lord guy, and I'm like, who is Star-Lord? I think they kind of made fun of that in the movie. Like, who are you? Who's Star-Lord? I mean, and that in itself is another reason why I enjoy the movie so much because. They started off completely fresh with new characters, and they came together great. The action was great. It was fast paced. The comedy was good. You know, I think it was a good overall movie. And like I said, Derrick was right on his suggestion. So I recommend Guardians of the Galaxy.
So he's basically saying, listen to me. I got you
just
back.
A little bit sometimes.
But to go off Guardians of the Galaxy, so. It's not my favorite movie of the year. I have to admit, it's not my favorite movie of the year. But it's the funnest to me. And like you said, I don't know what about the movie when it was in pre-production, when it wasn't being made, when they were talking about Vin Diesel doing the voice of Groot and Bradley Cooper doing the voice of Rocket Raccoon and all that stuff. I was excited for it. And for whatever reason, I started reading the comics and the comics had me hooked. I think that's what it was I wanted to give it a chance. I'm like, oh, this is coming out. I'm going to brush up on the comics. I'm probably going to do the same thing with Doctor Strange. I was like, let me look at the comics and just see what they have. And the comics, I was in the car riding, and I was going to Vancouver, and I'm in the car laughing. And I'm like, I'm reading a comic book in the car on my phone, and I'm laughing out loud. And it mainly was because of Rocket. There's two things I didn't like about the movie, which I excuse because the movie was so great. Is Rocket Raccoon... he has a gun, so he kills a lot of people. So in the comic, he literally would shoot somebody, he go bang, murdered you, and I was like, I'm ready for that to happen. I'm ready for him to shoot somebody in the face and say bang, murdered you. I mean, granted, Bradley Cooper had a different voice than I had in my head, but that was okay. And then Star-Lord, his background's a little different because of where his dad came from and who his dad was actually in the comics, which. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, that's the first thing I pointed out when I watched the movie is when they brought up Star. I'm like, that's not right. But I'm like, whatever. The movie was great. I mean, the soundtrack. I mean, I watched the movie 5 times in theaters. I literally watched the movie 5 different times. It was the day it came out. I saw it by myself. Then I saw it with you and Dominic the day after. And the day after that, my goddaughter was like, I want to go see Guardians of the Galaxy. And she's 12. She's like, you promised you would take me to see Guardians of the Galaxy? I was like, okay, I'll see it again 3 days in a row. And then I saw it 2 other times with friends because they never seen it. I'm like, oh, well, we got to go see it then. And then the soundtrack, everything is just great. The comedy is great. One of my favorites. It's definitely, it's got to make my top 10. I can't say it will, definitely, just because there's so many great movies. And I have to cram a bunch of more Oscar contender movies in before the year's up, so because I want to try to do a top 20, but it's definitely up there. My Blu-ray pick of the week would be, and it's in the running for my favorite, my top movie of the year. Is Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. And I mean, if you ain't seen Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, something's wrong with you. I mean, you have apes on horses, you have apes with guns, talking apes, and this isn't like fake apes or whatever. These are
guys and monkeys.
Yeah, this is the real deal. Like these, it looked like we went to the zoo and grabbed some apes and somehow we taught them how to sign, and not only sign but talk and shoot guns and all that. Like it looked like we got monkeys to act in a movie, and that's really how I look. And I mean, that's all thanks to not only our technology with motion capture, but people like Andy Serkis, who's been the front runner for motion capture, and the performance he gave and Toby Kebbell as Koba, and that boy said human work, like all that, and like him and Caesar, like the whole dynamic. The weakness in the movie definitely is the humans, but the apes in the movie, even the orangutan and everything, are so great, and it brings the humanity to something that makes sense. Like it seemed like it could happen just because apes are so close to us in our biology and everything like that. It's like, dang, they have flaws just like us, and I mean that's animals in general. Like they don't have it's not just their instincts. It's just they make flaws just like us. We're all flawed in some way, and it takes a while for Caesar. I mean, the Caesar realizing that, and the whole way the movie breaks down is just great. It's just all around great action movie, great storytelling, all around great movie. I mean, what did you think of it? I know you saw it too.
That's one of my favorite movies too.
The 5 you saw this year.
Yeah, that was one of the 5 I saw this year. It was definitely one of my favorites too. Again, the apes on horses, the apes with the guns and stuff like that. That was pretty cool. A lot of the special effects were great. But I think the thing that I appreciated and the thing that I liked the most about the movie was kind of the correlation between the apes and the humans, because I think that the thing that separates them from us is, I mean, besides like opposable thumbs and stuff like that, or whatever the case may be, is our intelligence and our ability to adapt. But the movie takes that on, head on, and it makes, when the apes become intelligent, they also they begin to resemble us in more ways than just being smart. They become resentful. They become, they hold grudges and stuff like that, as you can see with Koba, later on in the movie. And I thought that was really interesting, and it kind of turned the mirror back on us to show like this is us in ape form. Yeah, So you can't hate the apes. You kind of got to look back at ourselves.
That's
too.
our fault.
So yeah, they were acting like us.
Exactly. I don't want to give spoilers for the movie, but hearing you talk about it made me think about just one line a guy said in the movie, and it's so true. Because the one up we have on any animals in the animal kingdom is our intelligence, because we can use technology to help us or whatever. Yeah. But in the movie, the guy, I don't know the character's name because the human names weren't even important. Okay. But he was like, because humans were looking for power. We know our civilization is going away. Mm-hmm. But the dude's like, the crazy part, what makes them more dangerous than us? It's like they don't need power. They are fine out here. They have our intelligence. But they can just hang out in the cold. They don't need clothes. They don't need all that stuff that we need to survive. We need power, electricity. They don't need none of that. Right. So that right there is like, you got a very good point. Like, I'm happy with technology, but if we were to go back to the Stone Ages, what are we going to do? Right. So, I mean, that's all we have for today. It's all we have for Talking Movies with D. Just feel free to email us on Talking Movies with D, and we'll definitely. We're gonna read through all the emails, and we're gonna try to make sure if you ask a good question or bring up a topic that we want to talk about on the show, we'll definitely bring it up and give you a shout out and talk about that actual topic. You can follow me on Facebook or Instagram at Derrick Woodrin. OJ, where can people follow you or find you somewhere?
Well, I'm not really a whole social internet kind of guy. I mean, I do have a Facebook for all my friends and family that know me on there. If you guys want to see more of this guy, request me off of D's show, and I'll make an appearance and give you my opinion on some things. So feel free to ask me.
So that means comment on in the comment section and say, hey, we want the big crazy guy with the do-rag on his head. We want him back.
Hit the like button.
Yeah, like the page, subscribe. I just want to remind everybody to go out there and just get lost in a movie. Go watch something, because I think that's the reason why I love movies so much, is because just to get up there, watch what's on the screen, and just fall in love with the story and the different characters and seeing how different people react. So just go out there, watch a movie, or pick one of your DVDs up out of the DVD player or Blu-ray and just catch a movie. But that's all we got for you today. We'll see you guys next time. Deuces.